Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. To Michael Voris. If you haven't seen this yet or heard about it, take a look.
Women did not get the vote by voting. It is time for deeds and not words. It is time to just stop oil.
Politics is failing us. Politics failed women in 1914. If millions will die due to new oil and gas licensing, millions! If we love history, if we love art, and if we love our families, we must just stop oil.
Please go into the next one. Please go to the next one, please.
Those are two climate freak whack jobs who just marched into the London National Gallery and took hammers to a 400-year-old famous painting, Rokeby Venus, valued at $90 million. The climate change lunatics are from the group Just Stop Oil. And on the same day, they doused Birmingham University Library in orange paint and went to London's West End and charged the stage, interrupting a performance of Les Mis, saying, "Stop the oil, just stop the oil." While physical violence and destruction may not be the first go-to for the commies, it's never far from consideration. It's just how they roll. By the way, they were finally arrested, those two, and charged, but we'll see how that goes. The point, the left will destroy anything it's supposed to claim to want to save everything. Not so much, not really. One of the giant claims of the eco-terrorist crowd is the downtrodden take the brunt of it when it comes to greedy Christian Westerners using oil and coal to destroy the environment via climate change. They're always so concerned about the poor and so forth. Just like the U.S. bishops never stop going on about the preferential option for the poor. And you'll notice whenever they use that, any bishop says that, he kind of lowers his voice and says it in these, solemn tones. The preferential option for the poor. How many climate victims does Cardinal Robert McElroy of San Diego allow to camp out in his house, giving them a preferential option? Why don't Pope Francis and the Curial Cardinals open up the Vatican and give a preferential option to the homeless, hundreds of them, who sleep out on the stone ground in the colonnade around St. Peter's every single night? The level of hypocrisy is off the charts. You can't claim on the one hand and stand in front of microphones and issue statements all over the place that you prefer the poor, and then just step over them on your way into luxury digs. Yep. This is par for the course. For example, this coming week in Baltimore, nearly every U.S. bishop, more than 300, is going to hop on a plane and fly in from around the country. Think of all that jet fuel. Think of all that carbon emissions. Oh, my gosh, what would Greta Thunberg say? And then they're going to stay at the Marriott Waterfront Hotel, the swanky Marriott Waterfront in the Inner Harbor, Baltimore, one of the nicest hotels there, have nice meals in the hotel at breakfast and lunch, and probably go back for thirds. And then a fleet of luxury SUVs will pull up at the main entrance and drive them all over town in groups of 2 to 6, where they will eat very expensive steaks and enjoy a splendid Bordeaux, or 12. Judging from the crowd, a few desserts will get gobbled down as well. This happens twice a year, every year at the expense of the church, meaning you, as they continue to close parishes and schools, belly aching there isn't enough money. What they actually mean is there isn't enough money left over after they get done flushing $1 million twice a year down the toilet at their semi-annual boondoggle where nothing happens related to the faith, unless it's another giant vote to water it down or pretend the deposit of faith is optional. One of the things that the USCCB, also known as the Useless Conference of Communist Bishops, does is produce baptismal documents for the left's agenda. Climate change, illegal immigration, canceling the Second Amendment. Oh, they bless it all in a preferential option for the poor. Why are we concentrating on all this? Well, to help expose all of this. Church Militant is once again happy to organize our Deposit of Faith Coalition members in sponsoring another press conference for politically conservative media so they can understand the connection here, how the Republic is being ripped apart and undermined by the connection of these commies on the Hill feeding all this money to the religious left to push all this garbage. Presenting to the media on Tuesday, November 14th, which is going to be at the Four Seasons Hotel in Baltimore, during the bishop's annual meeting, will be a number of the most highly respected experts ever assembled on this. John Clauser is the 2022 Nobel Prize winner in physics who will debunk the phony science behind all of this. Mark Morano is producer, writer, and former investigative reporter for Rush Limbaugh. He's going to blow the lid off the plot to collapse America's energy, transportation, and food supply. Boy, I can't believe they would want to do that. Don't these commies love America? And Alex Newman, award-winning international journalist who has covered this topic and the misinformation surrounding it from the left for years now. All you have to do is just think, oh, Greta, there she is. Oh, you ruined my life. Ah. And, of course, the media canonization of her. And yours truly won a few Emmy Awards here with investigative journalism. I'm going to be presenting on the hierarchy's complicity in all of this. Now, that press conference is going to be available for everyone at home to watch live beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on November 14th. So please tell everyone you know. Get the word around. Spread it. Keep talking about this. They got a 100-year head start with us on the propaganda. We got to catch up. Church Militant is leading the charge, hands down, with our Deposit of Faith Coalition in trying to roll back at least the funding the bishops get in all of this unethical activity. And I think if you're promoting a lie and you know it's a lie, I think that sort of ventures into the category of not just unethical, but sinful, be it immigration or, in this case, environmental alarmism based on phony science. As you know, we were in D.C. last month on the Hill interviewing a couple of congressmen who've had it with the America Last agenda, supported by the U.S. Communist Bishops Association. And now, once again, we're taking the fight right to the bishop's doorstep, like we do quite frequently. As the bishops meet in the Marriott, it's a very nice luxury hotel, by the way. It's very nice, great food. Everything's nice. The rooms are tremendous. Only costs like $1 million for the bishops to do that. Well, directly across the street, at the exact same time, we're going to be broadcasting their lies with a Nobel Prize winner and respected journalist in all of this. So we'd like to appeal to you to help us pay for all of this. Cost a bunch of money, bags of money, to get the crew there, get all the equipment there, set it all up, rent the facilities, bring in the speakers, as well as the several weeks of background research and man hours we've already put into this. You know, you got to plan all the logistics, but you're also going to get in touch with the press and talk to them, explain things, and assemble materials and all of that for the press. Put the press release together, get on the phone, talk to all those people. It's hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of all of this. And the good news is, which the crew loves here, the hard work hasn't begun yet. The last press conference we sponsored in July in D.C. garnered more than 25 million media impressions as outlet after outlet kept publishing information from it, including Steve Bannon and the InfoWars guys. They picked everything up just as Stu Peters picked up on our work last month on Capitol Hill. You know, the staff members in Congress, they told us that they were very grateful for what we were doing because it helps them when they're putting the legislation together to simply cut off the funding. That's the point of this legislation. They're forming it. They're sitting in their offices. We stayed in their offices with them for a couple hours, pointing this out, pointing that out. So this is what your contribution does. It allows us to go there and spend time and help be part of the narrative, to help set the narrative right according to faithful, authentic Catholicism, not this left-wing garbage crap. So here we go again. Cut off all the funding for all the bishops, every last bit of it, every last dime, whatever policy of the communists that they're pushing. Doesn't matter if it's immigration or climate change. It happens to be climate change this time around. So please click on that donate button just below us here. And you be the heroes, you be the impetus in launching another broadside against all of their corruption. Fight back and win and seize the day. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.